Well, the Cooperative is the UK's largest financial mutual. Over the past 12 months, it's seen profits and its revenues soar. Well, we can talk now to Peter Marks, who's Group Chief Executive of the Co-op. Now, he's attending an award ceremony tonight in central London, hence the Dicky Bow, where he's hotly tipped to be named Business Leader of the Year. Good evening to you. Thank you very much indeed for taking time away from your dinner there tonight. Now, Peter Marks, you are the man of the moment. Hello. You're up for Business Leader of the Year. With ethical capitalism all the rage, you must really fancy your chances there tonight.
Well, yes, but there are some really good other candidates as well, and really, you know, it's not about me. I'm here representing 120,000 of my colleagues who've worked terrifically hard over the last 2 years to bring our brand out of the doldrums and really improve our shop stores around the country and give our customers great service and great products.
Well, I suppose in some senses the financial crisis has helped bring your business out of the doldrums, hasn't it? And how do you feel about the excesses that caused the financial crisis a year ago? Do you agree with Hector Sanz, for example, that there's still an absence of collective responsibility for this crisis in the city?
Absolutely. There's been a complete breakdown of trust in the financial services world, and ethics have gone out the window. We welcome Hector Sanz's initiative. However, I'm not sure it's going to be the panacea that maybe some people think it is, because the real driving force behind PLCs and in the banking sector is the shareholders. And the shareholders are hungry for share value growth all of the time. And that's what drives the management teams. So the shareholders don't think about ethics, they think about value, and that's an issue that has to be tackled.
Well, yes, well, you can't be suggesting that all our banks go mutual, are you?
I'm not suggesting that for a minute, but I do think that the mutual model has a much stronger part to play in the future.
OK then, in that case, are you behind the 31 MPs who are supporting a parliamentary motion calling for the re-mutualisation of Northern Rock? The idea being when it's split into a good bank and a bad bank, the good bank sold off, that it becomes a mutual during that process. Would you back that?
I think that's a good idea. Absolutely I do, yes. The mutual sector has been decimated over the last few years. I remember many years ago, when I applied for a mortgage, you could only go to a building society. And they looked at your creditworthiness in great detail, and they were prepared to lend you maybe 2.5, 3 times your income. They didn't even take your wife's income into account. That was prudent lending. We seem to have forgotten and left that behind. And I think going back to the mutual model in certain parts of the financial sector will improve.
OK, so if that's the answer for Northern Rock, does the Cooperative have a part to play? I mean, it could be remutualised by selling it off to the Cooperative. Are you interested?
Well, it all depends on timing. You will know that we've recently merged with the Britannia Building Society. So we have a very big integration job to do at the moment. And we're really focused on that. That's going to take us best part of 2 to 3 years. And that's, you know, our real focus of attention. So are we looking to acquire more businesses right now? No, we're not. But in 2 or 3 years' time, it may well be a different story.
So is it a possibility that you could be interested in the good part of Northern Rock?
Not right now.
But if it's in a few years' time?
Well, yes, we would certainly consider that situation.
OK, let's go back to how we restore trust in our banks. You talked about this kind of need for a cultural change. Gordon Brown is very keen on this idea of a financial tax, a tax on financial transactions, a so-called Tobin tax. Now, Timothy Geithner, the US Treasury Secretary, has dismissed that idea on this programme. However, Gordon Brown thinks it's a good idea. Do you think it's a good idea? Could it be some way of lending social responsibility to banks, if you'd like? That money could be well used.
Yeah. Yeah. It would only be a good idea if it were universally accepted. And clearly it's not going to be universally accepted, so I'm afraid the idea is dead in the water.
In principle, though, do you like that idea of taxing banks in that way and putting some of that money back into society?
I really think the best way to supervise banks in the future is to have a better regulatory system. You know, we have a tripartite system at the moment, and that clearly hasn't worked. And I'm a big fan of having one organisation, one body, accountable and responsible for the supervision of banks. And I think that's one of the ways forward.
Do you have faith that our banking system has learnt from its mistakes and is moving forward?
Well, time will tell. It's very difficult to see that the PLC model is not going to repeat itself in a few years' time when all of this is forgotten. And as I say, I think the mutual model has a big part to play.
We've talked a lot about banks.
In the mutual sector.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry?
We've talked a lot about banks. I just want to have a word from you about your supermarkets, because you are, I think they've called you a cooperative lifer, is how you've been described. I understand that you started in this business at 17, stacking shelves. Does that mean that the supermarket side of the business is still closest to your heart?
I guess it is, yes, and we've had a tremendous 2 years. The cooperative used to be a fragmented organisation. We've consolidated over the last 2 years, and it's pretty much one business now. And by doing that, we've improved our profitability, and we've been able to invest massively in our shops and stores over the last couple of years, and our products and our service, and the customers like what we're doing. You know, our like-for-like sales have been market-leading throughout this year. We're the biggest convenience sector operator, and we're the 5th largest grocer. So we're a big player in the retail food sector. We acquired Summerfield, that doubled our market share overnight, and we're now back in the Premier League of food retailing. So yes, that's certainly our biggest business, and it's the one that's driving our business forward.
Okay, Peter Marks, really interesting to talk to you. Thanks for your time and good luck tonight.
Thank you very much.